YouTube, how's it going? Back with another NFL 7-round mock draft. This one is for the Green Bay Packers, who have a ton of picks in the upcoming draft. Should be a fun one for the Packers fans. They do have a lot of holes on defense, a lot of needs on defense, and maybe some on offense, but they got a lot of picks and free agency to fill those to get back on top. Could easily be done. Also doing a fan voted mock draft, link in the description. I'm going to go in draft order for these videos. Obviously, we'll get to the teams without a first-round pick after. Got plenty more other videos leading up to the draft. Got the combine coming out, videos for that and free agency. All kinds of fun stuff for you guys, so stay tuned. But let's get on to these Packers. First round, I got him going Josh Jackson, corner from Iowa. I think this is best case scenario. If it's possible he drops there, and if he's there, they take him. They have some corners that can play. They're just missing that number one playmaking corner. Maybe opposite of Kevin King in the future. They got good plans for him. He's obviously got potential to be a good corner, but Josh Jackson's that legit number one. Will be their number one right away if they got him. Just a game changer, playmaker and game changer. I like Josh Jackson a lot. I like him over Denzel Ward. Second round, Okoronkwo, the edge rusher from Oklahoma, can play 3-4 outside linebacker. May be able to play on the line too. Very athletic, should do well at the combine. So maybe too good to pass here in the second round, and they need a lot of defense. They need some pass rush. Most important thing in football, I think, pass rush. So get a guy like this that could be huge for them. Third round pick, I'm taking Hayden Hurst, tight end, South Carolina. I think they're missing that big time tight end. This guy is a very smart player, knows how to get open. Can block very well too, so I think he's just a Packers guy. It's what they're missing here. They could really use a guy like this. Been trying to fill that tight end hole. They've had some tight ends, but they're missing that legit number one guy that's gonna be a big time factor. So they can get one here, maybe even earlier in this. So Hayden Hurst I like is a round 3 guy. On to their next pick, fourth round, Andrew Brown, D lineman, Virginia. I think he can play 3-4 DN for him. I think he can play very early in his career. They can use his talents right away. This guy was known maybe as a day 3 pick, and then after the Senior Bowl, people moving him up maybe second, third round. I think he possibly go 4, maybe a little bit too much hype, but third or fourth I think is his range. Again, they can use a D end in there, another D lineman. Another fourth round pick, Josie Jewell, the linebacker from Iowa. This is a Packers guy. I think he can play inside for him. I think he can play right away too. Very, very productive linebacker from Iowa. Great defense over there too. So they got Josh Jackson and now another Iowa guy to go along with him. He's just a Packers player, I think. I can see it. I can see him fitting in an inside linebacker right away. Definitely can use another one of those. Play in their 3-4. Fifth round, Kiki Kute, wide receiver from Texas Tech. I really like this guy a lot. Got a lot of speed, good downfield. Reminds me of Tyreek Hill a lot. Packers they've had some good receivers. They're kind of missing this type of guy, though. If they had this type of guy, they'd be just on a whole nother level. Maybe he's got what Randall Cobb had and more, maybe more downfield speed. So I think he can pair well with the Packers. They never really had a guy like this. They've always had athletic receivers, good hands, guys that can open, go downfield, but they're just missing this type of guy. So they could be very fun to watch, a guy like this on the Packers. So I'm looking out for that. Maybe he can go earlier, maybe fourth round, but I like him a lot. Another fifth round pick, Wyatt Teller, offensive lineman for Virginia Tech. I think he just brings guard depth, can start early in his career. Really, whoever the Packers have at line, they're going to be good, it seems. They draft well at offensive line. They're very good at developing those players. So maybe they weren't as good this past year as in the past, but I'm not really worried about their offensive line. That's obviously a lot of people need depth. They need depth, but I'm not really worried about it. I'm confident they'll develop those guys, the younger guys they got, and they'll be okay. On to the next pick. It's another fifth rounder. Puna 4, defensive lineman, Texas. Maybe more inside than Andrew Brown. So more of depth early on in his career, but maybe a future starter. The guy's got potential. The guy can play. So just a ton of picks. So they're going to get depth here. They're going to fill that defense out, get some needs. So the Packers, they're in a good spot because obviously they can be good now, and then with these draft picks here, they could be good. And they have some young talent on the defense as well. They can be good in the future too. So they're sitting in a pretty good spot, even though it was a non-playoff year. Just got to keep that defense going. They got to get it up because really the way it was last year. Even if they had Rodgers, I don't think they were going anywhere because of that defense. But they have the ability to get it going here. So it's good. They can do good things in this draft with a ton of picks. 6th round, Damon Webb, safety from Ohio State. Another one, depth at first, but he's good enough to play early on in his career. I like Josh Jones stepping up. Safety I really like from last year. I like him stepping up and starting if they lose Morgan Burnett. But here's some depth and a guy that can really is a poor man's Malik Hooker, who was a top pick from last year from Ohio State. Very similar. Not as good, obviously, but he can play. He can play. So future guy here, depth at first. Another 6th rounder, Kurt Benkert, quarterback, Virginia. I like his potential. I think teams like his potential. A lot of mistakes here and there. Just silly mistakes that could be corrected. So I like him sitting behind Rodgers. Maybe Hundley's not the guy. We didn't really see anything good from him. I kind of expected more, to be honest, but injuries hurt the Packers. But Benkert could be a guy of the future, 3rd string right away, but learn behind Rodgers and then keep moving on up. I think maybe he's got a little Rodgers in him, not a whole lot of it, but obviously because he's down the 6th round. But it's worth the risk, I think. It's worth the risk. 7th round, Steve Ishmael, wide receiver from Syracuse. Is that big receiver, long receiver, downfield guy that can go up and catch the ball. Excellent ball skills. Maybe separation, speed, and routes are the concern. That's why he goes 7th round. But when you watch like a highlight tape on this guy, he looks like a 1st round guy because he's going against good corners in the ACC, going up and catch the ball over him, knows exactly how to do it. So maybe a sleeper for the Packers here. They get Goutte, that's the smaller, shifty guy, but that who also can fit the offense. When this guy is the bigger guy that can go downfield and catch the ball, maybe a red zone guy. So obviously wouldn't play a lot right away, but Packers know their receivers. They know how to get them late, so I could see it. And finally, on to their last pick, Garrett Dooley, edge, Wisconsin. I put edge here, but I think he can play multiple positions. I think he doesn't really have a true position. Maybe that's why he drops. Could play outside, could play middle linebacker, obviously, I think. But obviously he can play, I think he can play DN too. But at 3-4, Packers defense, I think they'll find a spot for him. Wisconsin guy. Good pick for them with their last pick. I think they'll find a spot for him. I think he can play multiple positions. So maybe more value than a 7th rounder, but that's where he should go. 6th, 7th round. So there's all those Packers picks. There's a ton of them. Should be a fun draft for them. You're never gonna know what they're gonna do. Oh yeah, one thing, they could use a starting running back. They obviously have good running backs that can play. I've mentioned that in the past. I do think they need a legit number 1. But then you might ask, why didn't I have them taking one? If they're gonna take one or they're gonna get one, it's got to be a legit number 1. So it's gonna be early or none at all. They have plenty of depth at running back. So that's why I didn't have them taking running back. I want them going the defense route early. But if you went in with a second version of this, maybe you look at a Darius Geis in the 1st round. Maybe you look at 2nd round, a guy like Sony Michel, guys like that. Kerryon Johnson, I like Kerryon Johnson of the Packers. I do like who they got. I like Jamal Williams from last year. They got good depth. They got guys that can play, so they don't really 100% need one. But if they're gonna get one, it better be a top guy. They don't need any more depth. So that's why I didn't have them taking one. But that'll do it for the Packers. Please stay tuned for more. Plenty of videos, draft, NFL offseason, all kinds of stuff. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.